One thing I think most of us in the gun community can agree on is that concealed carry badges are just ridiculous. I've always considered them to be a bunch of, wannabe BS. I've always imagined there's an application to get one of these where you have to answer yes to all the questions, and the questions are you of legal age? Do you have a concealed carry permit? Do you still live with your mother? And are you still a virgin? I've just never figured out why anybody would want one of these. I've always figured the guys that have them are the kind of guys that you knew in high school that wore a camouflage coat all year long, even in the summertime, and refuse to shower after gym class. I'm always amazed when I see someone that has one of these on the internet. I'm like, don't they have a friend that tells them how stupid these things are? Just one friend that would tell them don't do that? But then I guess if these people actually had friends, they probably wouldn't be the type of people that got concealed carry badges. I've never been able to fathom a single good reason for having one. I've always been very opposed to them. But I like to keep an open mind. I like to hear other people's opinions, and I like to change my opinions when I can, because I think being locked into your opinions is a very negative thing. So I always try to keep an open mind. I don't mind being wrong if someone can point out a different perspective to me. Well, I haven't changed my opinion on concealed carry badges, but maybe there are some circumstances where they do make sense, because I have a viewer who lives near me. They live north of me up near Seattle, and he's an older gentleman that just got his carry permit a couple of years ago. Well, he first got his permit, and because he has a disability, he's a disabled Vietnam veteran actually, open carry is the best way for him to carry. And the problem was, because of where he lives, when he was open carrying, in the first 3 months, he was carrying his handgun, which he said was just a small little 5-shot revolver, a little J-frame Smith & Wesson. He said in the first 3 months he was open carrying that, he had the police called on him 7 times in 3 months. And a few of those occasions were pretty dangerous because police responded to him with guns drawn, even though he was doing nothing menacing when it happened. Now, eventually, one of the police officers that responded to the call of him having a gun suggested to him to get a concealed carry badge and wear it on his belt next to his gun. Wear it right there on the rig next to his gun where it's visible. And the reason for this was he thought that all these nervous Nancys that were calling the cops on him every time they saw the gun, if they saw a badge next to it, would not call the cops because they would assume he was a police officer or something like that. And you know what? He said he got one. He put it on his belt right next to his holster. And since then, in the last year and a half, he hasn't had the police called on him once. Not one time since he put the badge there. Going the same places, seeing the same people every day, and not had the police called on him once, compared to 7 times in 3 months without the badge. So I guess in this circumstance, I will have to admit that there is a good cause for that badge. That badge is actually doing something productive. It's doing something good. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but you can get in trouble for impersonating an officer. No, having a concealed carry badge is not impersonating an officer. No more than wearing a cop costume to a Halloween party or to any costume party is impersonating an officer. You can dress like a policeman if you want to. It's not against the law. Impersonating an officer only comes into effect if you actually present yourself to someone as an actual officer, usually while trying to perform the duties of a police officer. Otherwise, there's nothing illegal about it. If you're not saying, hey, I'm a cop, so don't call the police, then you're not going to get in trouble. If you say, hey, I'm a cop, don't call the police, then you're impersonating a police officer. That's a different story. But just having the badge is not impersonating a police officer. So am I saying that I now think concealed carry badges are a good thing? Nope. I still generally think they're a bad idea. I would never want one, and I think most reasonable people would never want one, especially people who carry them in their wallet. I can't see a single good reason to carry one in your wallet in a folding case, especially like, I'm going to show that to the cop if I ever get pulled over so he'll know I have a concealed carry permit. I would not do that. I would not suggest that. Trust me. Like I say, I still think they're generally a bad idea. But like I said, I like to keep an open mind. I like to be open to other people's experiences and admit when someone else has an experience that's different to mine. So in this case, I'm willing to say, although I think they're a bad idea usually, I can say that there are circumstances where a concealed carry badge could be a good idea. You ain't even my real dad.